Welcome to the 2022 Baseballtown Charities Phillies Winter Tour, presented by Liebensberger Funeral Homes.
Since its inception in 2002, Baseballtown at Charities has been investing in the future of baseball, raising several $1 million to build facilities and fund programs in and around Reading. It started with the construction of Gordon Hudak Stadium at Lowers Park, a baseball palace for inner-city boys and girls of the Baseballtown Junior RBI League. It continued with the renovation of Reading's historic Bear Park, and then expanded beyond the city limits to build the Savage 61 Dream Field, a ballpark specially designed for those with physical and cognitive challenges. In addition to financially supporting the leagues that utilize these facilities, Baseballtown at Charities recently started the Rip It for Life program, which provides free lessons, batting cage time, and invaluable guidance about life to players who lack the financial ability to pursue playing at a higher level. We invite you to celebrate our national pastime while preserving its future by supporting Baseballtown at Charities. Please visit baseballtown.org to donate today.
Hey, Fightin' Phils fans, Emily Messina here with our Phils closer, Brian Marconi, for this edition of the Baseballtown Charities Phillies Winter Tour. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Emily. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for coming on here today. What have you been doing during the off season?
It's a lot of downtime. I've been spending it at home with my family in New Jersey. So it's nice to be able to, spend all the lost time during the season with them. But mostly just a lot of time in the gym, in the weight room, whatever, getting ready for the season. Obviously, we're getting closer to spring training now, so it's starting to get a little more real.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are heading to Florida sometime soon. Have they given you any insight on that?
It sounds like we're going to be headed down early to mid-February. So the spring training dates are still kind of up in the air with the lockout still ongoing. It sounds like that's headed in the right direction, hopefully, but we're still holding on tight. But I expect we should be headed down there soon.
That'll be great, and luckily our Phil season will not be affected by that whatsoever. So whether you're going to be joining us here, or you're going to be up in Lehigh Valley, we're looking forward to baseball being back here in Reading. But last year you were here with us in the AA level, which is kind of considered a big make or break level. Do you feel like you gained any confidence, having such a successful year here in Reading?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, I'd say like to start the year, it kind of got a little interesting at first. Like, when I first caught up in Reading, like you said, it's like a different environment, I guess, like in a AA atmosphere. But it started out kind of rough, but being around all those guys and obviously the great fans, it made it a little bit easier to settle in.
How do you feel like you handle those rough patches throughout such a long season?
I think mostly like with what you just said, just because it's such a long season, like, as a reliever, you might not get tons of opportunities, the same as like a hitter or something. But I mean, if you struggle on Monday, you got a 5-game series, 6-game series. So you got, you're going to get looked at to go and, kind of redeem yourself later in the series, one way or the other.
So lots of different opportunities for you to come back in. But this year, named pitcher of the year here in Reading, you were named an all-star reliever for the Northeast League. What were some things that you were working on throughout the long season?
Mostly just staying healthy, being able to stay out on the field. But I mean, on top of that, just trying to like stay not too high, not too low, like stay within myself, keep the same like flow of the game that I guess was helping me be successful.
And you mentioned earlier that you're out working out now, getting ready for the season. Is there anything coming up that you really want to focus on this season?
Mostly just try and stay within myself, just try and be who I am, just try not to go, try and be somebody that I'm not. But no, mostly just that.
Well, that's, good to hear. If you, stay where you're at, you're doing pretty well. And so you have you were signed as an undrafted free agent and you kind of hit the ground running here. Is minor league baseball kind of what you thought it would be?
For the most part, yeah, I think so. I mean, it's you don't really know what it's going to be like until you get there. So my first year in 2019, it was kind of an exciting year. The following year we had COVID, so we got shut down there. But we had the full season last year, and it looks like we'll be okay this year. So, I guess I came in at an interesting time, but it's been a fun time.
Yeah, you definitely came in at a kind of a weird year. Now you've spent time in the minors, and you're kind of a local to this area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Are there any other Philly sports teams that you root for?
Oh, absolutely, all of them. So I think last night the Flyers just lost their 13th straight or 12th straight. So try and keep that one on the back burner a little bit. But Embiid's got my vote for MVP this year. Obviously the Eagles had the disappointing result, but it was fun following them all year.
Is it interesting to watch other professional sports and kind of feel a little bit relatable to them, knowing that you are a professional athlete as well?
I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, even if it's a different sport, I guess we still kind of go through the same schedules of like travel, eating on the road, this, that, the other. So I guess we definitely do share some similarities there.
Now, your role within the organization is very interesting, late reliever, closer. You might not always know when you're going to be called upon to come in. How do you kind of prepare for that uncertainty? Is that kind of what you mean about just like staying in your game, not getting too high?
Yeah, mostly just like that. Like you just always got to be, like you said, like nobody even really knows when their number is going to be called. So you just have to be prepared for essentially any opportunity. Like towards the end of the year, you kind of get a better feel of what your like role is and when you'll be used. So it gets a little bit easier in that aspect. But just definitely just being able to work on the fly and be ready whenever your number's called.
And I think one time this season you pitched in back-to-back games. What's kind of your mindset when you're called upon for the second day in a row?
I think that second day. I think it was only one time, but that was definitely a adrenaline based outing. I mean, it was you're sore the next day, you're tired, whatever it is. But like I said, that was definitely just adrenaline based outing. That we had to get the game closed one way or the other. So.
You've had a lot of big outings over your career. Last summer, you were part of a no-hitter that you closed. I believe you had another one too that you were a part of, maybe. What would you say is your biggest moment that you've pitched in?
I think the one last year in Reading, when we no-hit the Tigers team. I forget, the Erie, I think it was. But my no-hitter in 2019 was a little bit different. So we were playing in the GCL, and we were playing the GCL East versus the GCL West. So those are two Phillies teams that are playing each other. So it was one Phillies team that no-hit the other Phillies team. So it was kind of a little bittersweet.
Yeah, that's really crazy that you've been involved in two of them so far in just a few years in professional sports, but hopefully there'll be more for you in the future, and we can't wait to follow your career. Whether we see you this summer or you're up in AAA, we can't wait to follow you.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Thanks so much for your time here, and have fun in sunny Florida for us, won't you?
No, I will. Thanks, Emily. Have a good day.
Thank you.
After losing a loved one, families often wonder what next. You'll find the answer at Leibensberger Funeral Homes.
Everyone who walks through our doors is treated with respect and compassion.
We take the time to learn about your loved one and celebrate their life with a service that reflects who they really were.
Offering 2 locations, ample parking, and a spacious chapel and vestibule. Let our family help your family find peace at Leibensberger Funeral Homes.
Thank you for watching the 2022 Baseballtown at Charities Phillies Winter Tour. presented by Leibensberger Funeral Homes. Special thanks also to M&T Bank for their continued support of Baseballtown Charities.